Ciao, what's up everybody? Alright, so we are in Japantown and we are gonna do a economic impact video for Saigon, mainly District 1 in the areas that I know. So if you do enjoy this video, you know what to do. Thank you. If you want to subscribe, go ahead and do all that, whatever. You know, if you don't like it, smash the dislike button. Yeah, we're gonna get into some pretty good detail about some stuff. From what I know, you know, this is they were redoing this and then they stopped redoing it. You know, the La Corda steak place still made it. Of course, the Thai place. We've already talked about this stuff, but I'm going to get into much more detail about prices and stuff. So, the economic impact has been pretty great to Saigon. It has affected it hardcore, man. Not having tourists really is not good for Saigon in almost any way. Lots of things closed. This Highlands closed down as well, but it's just bad for so many things. Like, you know, it's really expensive to rent here on these front streets. Like, the average price, depending on where you're at, is like 6,000 to 15,000 USD a month for these places. So you've got to be making a pretty high turnover, and you've got to have pretty high traffic. The reason why most of Japantown kind of survived is because all the Japanese that live in these two apartment buildings right here. There's a lot of Japanese, you know, expats that this is where they live, this is their home. So they were able to, you know, come to their restaurants, go to their little bars, things like this. Like Pasture has done very well through the whole thing. Now, I wouldn't say very well, but they've done pretty good. Now, the old meat place over here, you know, that was really good. The Japanese meat place that I really liked, you know, that's now closed and gone. Their rent was, you know, 14,000, and they reduced it, I think, by half, he said, through the fourth wave. And then they asked, he's like, well, if I open again, he's like, you got to pay full price again. And now the asking rate for it is 12,000, which is still way more. Pasture right across the street only pays 9,000, so 3,000 less, which is still a heck of a lot of money, man. Kui is still here, your high-end mixology, whatever. Not my thing at all. I'm not really into high-end stuff, but if that's your thing. You see lots of new things popped up too, and then you got a lot of things for lease, and then a lot of things getting redone. So like, with each thing that went under, another thing opened. So, while it's unfortunate for business owners, you know, unlike Nha Trang, which was a ghost town when I was there last, there's lots of recovery here pretty quick. You've got 7 bridges down here. I don't know why they don't open during the day. You only need a staff of like 1 or 2. Drink some beers. Great place. This place looks like it just reopened or opened under a new foot and body massage. This is a legit massage, not a lady massage. It's weird. La Hoisteria opened during the 4th wave at the end and made pizzas, and then they closed again. And it's not for rent. Like, I should have talked to the guy and asked him. Then you got a couple, like Pho 24 was here. Now Pho 24 pulled out. Now they're redoing it. I don't know, maybe somebody already rented it. I wouldn't see the reason why to redo it if you weren't already rented out. And then you've got another lady. They already saw me with the camera, they all ran in, which I could care less. I don't film the massage girls, so they can do whatever they want. So yeah, the steak place that was here, that was really, really good. You know, the rent's too high. No one can afford to pay that rent. So that continuously has not been rented out yet because they just want too much rent. You know, while you got over here, you got Pasture doing just fine. What's up, Tommy?
What's up?
How you doing, bro?
Yes, I'm good.
I'll see you later, man.
Yes, let's drink here.
That's Tommy. He's a cool guy. He's a DJ as well. But like, I'll show you down here. We'll go down here. You know, 5Q had a spot here. I think whoever was renting it to him sold it, and then they moved the 5 coup down. I'll show you real quick. We might go somewhere for Tet. Me and Winnie are talking about it. I need to fly home and go see my mother. She gets a biopsy today on her tumor and see where it's at. That's not what the point of this video is. So we don't need to get off track. So yeah, the 5 coup was here, now down here. They improvised. And it's a big Tet tree. It's an expensive Tet tree, if it's real. Yeah, it's like a $20 million Tet tree. But if they look at it as a worthy investment, as it'll bring them business all year long. Let me show you the 5 coup down here. And we're gonna start talking about apartments and stuff like this too. So like 5 coup's just down here now. So we were all worried when we saw it close, because a lot of us like to come here and drink because it's the cheapest place in Japantown. So it's still here. And then of course you got all the lady bars and shit down here, and a lot of restaurants. There's a lot of devastation down here. We've already seen that. There's no need to double cover. So we'll get back to our walking and talking. The other thing is rent and sales. It's really weird. Like, the high-end segment is what's getting built the most now. Affordable housing has almost been completely just dumped from getting built anymore. Nobody wants to build affordable. They all want to build like Vinhome style places, which I don't know the math behind that, but you know, your ROI on those are absolutely terrible, especially if you buy them to rent them. I mean, you know, my apartment's 15 million, right? But during the 4th wave, the lady gave us a huge discount through the whole 4th wave. So like, my rent's probably over, even if you extend it out for the 2-year period, because I have no plan to move. It's a great apartment. I'm on the top floor nearly, and I have the best view. So it's a highly desirable apartment, but my rent's probably around 13.5 spread across 2 years, just from the pretty large discount during the 4th wave. So a lot of the non-desirable apartments in Golden River have dropped a little bit in price, about 10%. Some I've seen 20, but those are, you know, unfurnished first 10 floors that look at another apartment. So I mean, those are very, very non-desirable apartments. And then the sun is beating on your porch the whole day. So you have like no way to use your porch when it's during the day. I can use mine all day. The sun is barely on it for an hour out of the day. You know, there's different desirable apartments at all the Golden Rivers, all the places. Some people could have probably negotiated a nice 20% discount on the renewal of their lease. But I'm still very happy that I locked in my rate, because it's such a great apartment. This Mercedes wants to hit me. Now we're going to focus on D1 and D3 because that's the most that I've researched. I don't really care about District 2 that much, but I'm pretty sure District 2 has had a pretty good decline in price too, probably around 10%, 20%. A lot of businesses got free rent through the 4th wave. So then their rent went right back to where it was after the 4th wave. So you could use that and compensate and have a calculation on that to where it is like an overall reduction for whatever, how many years you want to calculate that at. But that seems to be the problem, why a lot of this stuff doesn't re-rent out, is these landlords want the same price for stuff pre-COVID. You know, there's our boy at the La Cuisine, still hammer down. I'm gonna eat there one day, I swear. He had a 20% sign off for a month and had a half full almost every night, and now he's back to you know, full price. Casablanca been empty for God, almost a year now. Again, because they probably want, you know, what the rent was before. Oh man, hold on. All right, now we've sussed out the construction noise. Look at all the money this guy put into a bike. That's not even worth the money he's put into it. These dudes are crazy with that stuff. But I get it, they keep it forever. But still, that wouldn't be me. But yeah, so like District 1 for the mostly, if it's a desirable apartment still, it's still at the same price. Now they did try to get more right after the fourth wave for a lot of apartments in Golden Rivers. It just didn't work. So now everything's at, you know, that goes up, you know, an average one bedroom's coming up for like 14 to 19 million, depending on how furnished and how well it's furnished, which is about the going rate before COVID. So they're all about the going rate before COVID again. You know, you can get, there's deals to be had, but you know, those are usually non-furnished or really not desirable style apartments, in my opinion. I mean, if you don't care and want to live on the 12th floor of a, you know, 49 floor apartment, and that's usually where kids are at, you'll most likely have some kind of noise. I mean, it's possible you may not, but there's lots of caveats when you live on a lower floor of a high-rise building, as I've lived in quite a few in my life. So you tend to want to be on the topper floors if you want better views, more quietness, etc., etc. But as far as in District 3, all the high-end apartments haven't really moved either, so they're pretty much staying up in price. Now District 2 I haven't really researched, I've just had friends tell me, you know, Solberger's still around. He ended up renting a tiny little space, which was a good idea, and he's doing delivery right now. Xin He's doing delivery and stuff like that right now. We're walking the Benthon Market, by the way, so I don't know how many parts this video will be, but yeah. And I think he said he got it for a pretty good price. So I think in District 2, there's some deals to probably be had. And you know, if I was you, I'd try to do short-term lease. I'd try to do 6 to 12 months tops. If I was you. 12 months tops, because you don't know. Or it might be time to lock in a deal, since they're pretty much going straight ahead with opening up in March, from what it looks like to me. March or April is really when I think you're going to see some kind of pretty large-scale opening. I mean, you can go down here to Quinque and see that a lot of empty places are already getting flipped into other stuff. It's already happening, you know. Pretty much everything's open on Boivin again, as we've seen. I've shot there. No need to shoot there for a while. We've hashed that out. There's no need to shoot there all the time, although the views are always good there for some reason. People just really like Boivin. And they like Nguyen Hue. And that should be getting all set up for Tet still. We shouldn't be able to enter it. We'll just take a quick peek. But as far as compared to like Nha Trang, you know, Phu Quoc, I don't think the economy is that bad here. I think it's going to recover really, really quick, especially with the arrival of tourists when they finally open things up without the silly tour package. And it looks like what I've always thought. They did this tour package thing so they wouldn't have an explosion of people before or during Tet. And that after Tet's when they're gonna kind of release the Kraken. So here's all the power they're running for all the Tet stuff. Oh yeah, they've got the dragon set up. They got all this shit set up now. Yep, all the dragons, things like this. It looks really good. They haven't canceled any celebrations here. You know, they've got Omicron under condition right now, so, and they don't seem pretty worried about Omicron at all. So overall, it might be actually a good time to lock in an apartment. You know, the best way to get an apartment, I've talked about it in apartment videos, but you know, you negotiate a good amount off of rent, and then you put down a couple months, and then you even pay a couple months ahead. And if it's a good price, lock it up for a couple years, man. Like, I'm so glad I locked mine up, because once people are back, that's a, you know, she was renting that place for 20 to 25 million. Because it's a super desirable unit. It's on, you know, there's so few units that look at the zoo perfectly like that and don't have the sun on it every day. So it's pretty desirable. And it has 2 balconies, which almost no 1-bedrooms have 2 balconies. So it's just a rare unit. A lot of the hotels are bouncing back now. The average hotel price, it's up 20% in Saigon right now, is $61, which is kind of insane. Okay. Let's see here. Ho Chi Minh City apartment sales lowest in 6 years. So they're the lowest they've been in 6 years, which makes sense. Rent for Hanoi service apartments plunged to 3-year low. So let's see what else we got here. Ho Chi Minh City apartment prices are up 15% though. A lot of weirdness going on, right? Ho Chi Minh high-end apartment prices surged 36%. So that is the segment. That's why everybody wants to make high-end housing. Let's go down and talk about pasture real quick, because I was with the guy that runs the tap room down here the other night. We talked for like an hour. He's running the pasture tap room here. He said it's completely dead. They're closing at like 10 p.m. even earlier if no one's coming in, because guess what? This area is all tourists. If there aren't any tourists coming, then there's nobody coming. Like, this is dependent heavily on tourism. You know, Chuck's Burgers is the same. You can go in there anytime. There's like nobody in there. Kind of the same with Eddie's, which I don't really like anymore. It's just whatever happened after a 4th wave, whoever he's got cooking here, it's just not good. So the quality just isn't there at all. And for the price, you've got to have quality every time. Look, not one person in there eating, and there won't be one person eating at Chuck's. Nope, not one person. And even if the tap room was open, which I know they're probably not, there's not going to be one person in there drinking. As you saw in the Japantown though, there was people drinking there right now, and it's shit, it's only $2.40. So I think this is for lease. I mean, you're seeing a lot of stuff come up for lease, but then you're seeing it getting snapped up, because they're really making it seem like, you know, they're going to open March, April, around that time period, to some kind of normalization of tourism without the silly tour group and a 3-day quarantine and all that stuff, and a ridiculously expensive flight. There is no direct flight to where my mother lives from here, so I'd have to jump all over in the United States. It's a logistical nightmare. This is for rent. But I mean, I think all this stuff will relatively rent out in pretty short order, in short fashion, once, you know, the go-ahead is clear that things are going to open. This is all heavy tourist areas, so I mean, you kind of got the data now. They're moving, Saigon is moving towards just luxury apartments, even though, you know, if you buy one of those, your ROI is shit, man. Like, you know, you're paying for the new one, for the Masteries project right next to the finishing up of the Essential Golden River project that Golden River sold to Alpha King, and then Alpha King went under and Masteries took over Alpha King. Those sell for $1 million a unit. And those will not rent for more than, you know, they're going to try to get like 2,000, but at the end of the day, it's going to be the same. They tried to get like 2,000 out of a unit when Golden River first opened the first year. A couple people did it, and then they all moved out right away, right as their lease expired. And then they had trouble renting, and then the median price came down to like $1,000. And then it dropped off every year. So like, off $1 million apartment, renting it for $1,000 a month, you're never gonna, that's gonna take so long to make your money back. So unless you're buying it cash and you're not financing it, I mean, that's the only viable way I could see that being like a good investment. Now, the one guy that lives in my building bought a pre-build at Agua 1, and he said he sold his unit for $1 million. And I think he paid like $650 for it. So I don't know the validity of that. I haven't been able to talk to him again. Seems like he's back at work full time, so he's not at the pool when I'm there anymore like he used to be. There's Taki Plaza. I've never filmed there because, I don't know, it's not that great. So I think in most areas, you know, you can get an apartment for about the same price as pre-COVID. Maybe some places cheaper. If you're already in an apartment, you're probably able to negotiate a little bit of a discount because, well, that landlord just doesn't want to have an empty apartment and then have to rent it for less. So kind of makes sense. I would probably, if I only did a 1-year lease, be able to, it was a year this month, I would have probably been able to negotiate a little bit off, but with the amount she gave us off in the 4th wave, it compensates. So there's no need to try to do that. I could even still try to get the rent lower, but there's no need to. No need to be greedy. And once they're fully open for tourism, and if they issue shit tourist visas again, all this stuff's gonna get rented out and all the prices are gonna go up. Look at all these places. They just really need to get this subway going, man. It's such a disgrace at this point. Come on. Dragging ass on the subway. You got that blue barrier up everywhere. Destroys all the business around here. Everybody's suffering from that blue barrier. You'd think that'd be the focus, man. If it was me, I'd be like, let's put... This place is popping, dude. I've never eaten here before. Everybody's eating here right now. To try it out one day. There's a bit too much carbs in a bowl of rice noodles. That's like my daily carb limit. It's like around 50 to 56 grams. If I remember right, when I looked up all the numbers on all the different rice noodle dishes. Alright guys, I don't know if there's going to be more parts to this or if I'm going to put it out like this. I think this is pretty informative. A lot of stuff that you really like to go to is still open. I'm not sure if I'm going to put out another video on this. If not, stay frosty. See you on the next one. Peace out. But if this is continuing and I walk around another area and talk more about the local economic impact, then see you there in a second.